Let me show you how easy it is to paint this beautiful Valentine's Day card using acrylic paints. Hi there, my name is Kim. I'm an artist, and today I'm going to show you how absolutely anyone can create this beautiful card in just a handful of simple steps. To start, grab some watercolor paper, cardstock, or any other thick paper you have lying around, and let's fold it in half to make it into a card. Next, I have a medium-sized pointed brush here, and I'm going to mix some red and some white paint together, and I'm also going to add in some water here. So I know we're using acrylics, not watercolors, but you can kind of dilute your acrylic paints so it has somewhat of that watery effect. So I've mixed two colors here into a light pink, and I'm going to start drawing some hearts onto my paper. Now I'm going to play around by adding a little bit more red paint onto my brush, and I'm going to start adding some more hearts. What I'm trying to do here is create a variety of hearts in different shapes and sizes, as well as different colors. So I want some of my hearts to be a lighter pinkish color and some to be a darker red. So I just want to add some variation into my bouquet here. Okay, and now I'm adding some extra white, and we're gonna paint the lightest shade of hearts here. So keep looking at your painting if you're not following exactly what I'm doing, and just see where there's any blank spaces and where you think you'd like to add in some extra hearts. Now I'm going to cheat a bit for the sake of this tutorial, so I'm going to dry my hearts, and then I'm actually going to go over once more and add a little bit more color into them once they dry, just because I really want them to be really saturated and bold looking. But this step is totally optional. It's completely up to you if you want to give them a second coat or not. If you aren't going to go over them once more, let's get a smaller brush, and I'm going to again play with those different shades of red, and I'm going to add in some smaller hearts as well to complement the larger ones I've painted. Okay, you're already halfway there. I've added some green now to my palette, and my green is very bright and saturated, and so I've added some red into my green to tone it down a little bit so there's a little bit less contrast and it's also a little bit darker. And then I'm using that same small brush, and I'm going to create these stems coming from the hearts. So I'm going to start at the very tip at the bottom of the heart, and then I'm going to try to bring the stem down and end in the same place each time. Now that I finished my stems, I'm getting a smaller pointed brush, and I'm gonna add in some leaves now. So what I've done is I'm using that same green, and I'm just lightly touching down on the paper. Then I'm adding a bit more pressure to push the brush into the paper so it creates more of that larger oval shape, and then I'm lifting up again. So if you do this, and it's helpful to have a scrap piece of paper to practice, you can really get these like perfect leaf shapes where it's like thin at the one end, thick in the middle, and then thin again at the other end. With that, we're done our picture. I looked at the card and decided it needed a little bit of something extra, and so I've decided to add some text to the bottom of my card. So I'm using a pencil here and just roughly outlining what I want it to say, and I'm going to go over this with a thin brush and some gold paint, but if you have a gel pen or a marker, that would work perfectly well as well. So taking the slow, I'm gonna go over one more time just to get it really saturated and thick. And then I think with that, that's our final step. Once you're finished your text, you're finished with your card. Make sure you let it dry fully before you write on the inside and send it to a loved one. If you enjoyed this tutorial, you might also enjoy this other tutorial I have on how to paint a beautiful flower bouquet. So click to watch and I'll see you there.